You chose absolutely right tuning into Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a great and productive Monday and start to the week, of course. And now, this is a sneak peek to our edition. The United Nations peacekeeping partners are discussing new measures and strategies to protect civilians in conflicts and wars. Residents and users of the Kigali-Muhanga Road say that its small size is a major obstacle and that it leads to problems including accidents and delays, hence the need for expansion. Once again, it's our great honor and privilege having your company tonight, and our news in details. United Nations peacekeeping partners are discussing new measures and strategies to protect civilians in conflicts and wars. This was a key point reiterated in the three-day ministerial United Nations preparatory conference that is taking place here in Kigali. Adam Squizera starts us off tonight.
Whenever there is a conflict and wars between countries, at that time, the civilians become victims of that tragedy. The Minister of Defense in Rwanda, Juvenal Malizamunda, explains more about the major mandate of the peacekeeping mission towards civilian protection.
Their ultimate responsibility to protect our citizens, maintain law and order, and promote a conducive environment for the restoration of peace should not be overlooked. The engagement of the international community through peace support interventions should not encourage the host government's dereliction of responsibility, nor should it be used as a scapegoat to divert attention away from state governance failures.
The Assistant Secretary General for Africa in United Nations Office, Martha Pobey, pointed out on how social media is currently playing a major role of creating hate speech and divisionism, which later affects the civilians. Military and Defense Advisor at UN Mission of Rwanda, Lieutenant Colonel Deo Mutabazi, finds that mainly the disunity of countries due to different interests creates difficulties in the peace mission.
The peacekeeping environment is completely difficult. We are operating in an environment where you find the multilateral environment itself is fractured. Major powers are competing for different interests. Not only that, the pandemics like COVID pandemic we're in few years ago, all those comes to militate against the peacekeeping missions, and it takes lives of people, and we deal with consequences of all those challenges. That's why you may see, and on that, the disinformation, misinformation, and the hate speech comes to again compound all this.
However, Olivier Ulich, the head of Performance and Protection Pillar, finds that such meeting proclaims to be a good way towards peacekeeping.
What makes this process different from the other meetings where it's mostly about talking is that what we're looking for is specific support from member states in the form of pledges at the ministerial, peacekeeping ministerial in Accra in early December. So this kind of meeting prepares us and member states to make those very concrete commitments. And those commitments include very specific military and police capabilities that we need to succeed in our missions.
In a global landscape where the proliferation of disinformation, misinformation and hate speech poses a threat to peacekeeping efforts, the imperative for a proactive and resolute approach to safeguarding civilians' lives took center stage at the United Nations preparatory conference that is taking place in Kigali. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
The governor of the Central Bank of Rwanda, John Rwangombwa, revealed to the senators in the Committee of Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Security that the foreign currencies sent into the country by Rwandans in the diaspora increased by 16% in the past 10 years. Prince Manzi.
Some of the Rwandans who lived abroad and sent money to their relatives in the country, as well as the receivers, say that these funds support them.
A good
example is when you are stuck in a certain project and you consult your relative in the diaspora. It is very helpful, and it eases the stress of bank loans when in need of money.
nanjye ubwanjye naroherezaga nanjye ubwanjye nari mu diaspora nabaye mu diaspora imyaka irenga 15.
I also used to send money. I have been in the diaspora for 15 years. You might send the money to support your family, but again, it can be the investment. You send small amounts and save them up through a plot of land rather than saving up in banks.
The
chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Security in the Senate Chamber of the Rwandan Parliament, Hadija Murangwa-Ndangiza, demonstrates that there are concerns raised by various Rwandans in the diaspora in their recent visit in various countries. There are countries that have a policy of not sending money across borders. In Africa, they tackled on two issues. The first is how we are going to send the money. We want to, but it is hard. Low sums is possible, but when they increase, it is a problem. An example is a country where their representative told us that they'd be having $300,000 to send, and they lack how to send them. And it requires communication so that anyone about to come back in the country comes in with envelopes. The governor of the Rwanda Central Bank, John Rwangombwa, states that the remittance cost is 7.4% from 9.5% in 2019, but it is a higher cost compared with the global cost that is 6.25%. Across Africa, it has been easy because of the mobile money services, but the issue is the cost that is still high. But through the Rwanda Bankers Association, discussions are possible between bankers and Rwandans in the diaspora to showcase bankers' products and hear out the challenges Rwandans in the diaspora face. The foreign currencies sent in the country by Rwandans in the diaspora increased by 16% in the past 10 years to $461 million in 2022. In 2011, Rwandans in the diaspora sent in Rwanda $98 million, whilst in 2022, they sent $461 million.
Residents and users of the Kigali-Muhanga road say that its small size is a major obstacle and that it leads into problems including accidents and delays, hence the need for expansion. Here's the details. Users confirm that the Kigali-Muhanga road is too narrow compared to the traffic.
Imihanda ni mitoya cyane kubera ko inyurwamo n'imodoka nyinshi kandi nini.
The road is too small, yet used by many and big vehicles, which results into a lot of accidents. Even yesterday, such an accident happened, all because the road is too small. The issue has also been confirmed by Dr. Nahayo Silver, Kamonyi District Mayor.
Birumvikana kuba ari muto bibangamira nyine uburyo ugendwamo imodoka bagenda n'amaguru birumvikana hari uburyo nyine.
It is obvious that because the road is very narrow, it affects the traffic flow, be it for pedestrians and vehicles, most especially when it comes to overtaking. At times, this resulted in two different accidents, most especially when a vehicle tries to overtake another.
Kutaba yabuza iyo mpanuka ku buryo rero mu byukuri ubuto bwabo byo byagaragara ko bufite imbogamizi zigaragara.
Residents have echoed the need for the expansion of this road.
We
are requesting for the expansion of this road so that we can move freely, but also allow pedestrians to move freely. The request of expanding the Kigali-Muhanga road aligns with the 20th October Cabinet meeting resolution, which approved the draft law approving the ratification of the agreement between the government of Rwanda and the Export-Import Bank of Korea for the upgrading of this road. The Rwanda Transport Development Agency, RTDA, confirmed that expansion works will see part of this road from Kigali to Bishenyi upgraded to a 4-lane road, whereas the remaining part to Muhanga will be expanded in width. The agency further validated that the expansion works of the 49 kilometers road will begin towards the end of this year, 2023. Space and climate change experts call for research-based information in African countries for those particular countries to make effective climate change measures. Prince Mazi with the details.
Statistics of the World Meteorological Organization demonstrates that over 100 million people in Africa face challenges, including poverty, mostly as an effect of the climate change, and yet Africa's contribution to the global carbon emission is only 4%. Kamau Macharia, the former special envoy of the former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, demonstrates the importance of the alliance between research, technology, and policy making.
The nexus of science and technology and climate action represents the crucial point of concerted action that is needed to mitigate the impacts of climate change. And we must bring together a powerful alliance between science, research, technology, and policy action. The roadmap that I just spoke to, proposed by the International Science Council, I think would be a good starting point. Second, that we must convince our political and social communities that science provides a deep understanding not just of climate change, but of all the sustainable development challenges that we face.
Starting Monday, Rwanda is hosting a 5-day World Climate Research Program Open Science Conference. Detlef Stammer, president of the World Climate Research Program, tackles on various areas of research interest.
We know a lot about the global changes. We now need to really produce more regional information, prediction information that we call it actionable. That is improvement of observations in Africa and other parts of the world, improvement of modeling, and really make this bridge between the information we have and what societies need. So, for instance, water problem, the availability of water, what people can expect, the changes of risks and extremes, how this can be predicted. And do this actually in a way that is really in a situation where people can act on, where people can actually make decisions accordingly. And I think this bridge between climate science and societal needs is where we need to improve our science, and that's what we will do. That's why we are here.
Experts demonstrate that if no measures taken to curb the climate change effects, in 2050, the GDP of African countries will deduct by 3%. The Rwandan Minister of Environment, Dr. Jean-D'Arc Mujawamariya, demonstrates that this conference demonstrates the power of information sharing in raising understanding of the global climate system.
It is a testament to the power of science, research, and open dialogue in advancing our understanding of the global climate system. We have the opportunity to learn from one another, collaborate on new ideas, and collectively chart a course towards a more sustainable and resilient future.
This meeting is expected to end with decisions that will be presented to the participants of the meeting of the countries that have signed the COP28 Paris Agreement, a meeting scheduled for the end of November and beginning of December this year in Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
The Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement calls on civil society organizations in Rwanda to play a greater role in activities that could help Rwandans fully achieve unity and resilience.
In the discussions that brought together the members of civil society organizations in Rwanda and the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, whereas the threats on the unity and resilience of Rwandans were among of the points that was brought on the table, which includes discrimination and divisionism based on the ethnicity or origin, plus the deliberately concealing information about the bodies of the victims of the genocide against Tutsi who have not been buried in honor, the problems of trauma resulting from the genocide against Tutsi, which are still affecting family relationships and the behavior of the youth as well. The spread of hate speech and genocide ideology in Rwanda, in the region, and in distant countries, distorting the truth of Rwandan history, specifically on the genocide against Tutsi, among others. The members of the civil society organizations have acknowledged their weakness in dealing with these problems that threatens the country's journey towards unity and resilience, whereas they noted the major cause of this weakness, which are due to the lack of knowledge, insufficient capacity, and the fact that their donors do not prioritize these programs. The Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, Dr. Visman Shantamasyan, finds that what these organizations need most is to change their attitudes, and the rest, the government will help them through the collaboration with different stakeholders. We always have discussions through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the embassies, plus the international organizations that work here in Rwanda, in order to give them the government direction and agenda, hence to make it clear on the programs that we run, and that's why we even get donations from them in accordance to the country's vision, not based on their will, since we Rwandans have our own context regarding on what we want, which are different from what other countries want. After these discussions, members of civil society organizations in Rwanda decided to improve their performance and participate more in activities aimed at strengthening the unity and resilience of Rwandans. It is necessary that we have to own our visionary sensitivity lens, hence to develop and protect what we've achieved as well. The participants of these discussions were reminded that among Rwandans living in the country or abroad, there are still some challenges that would reverse the progress made in unity and resilience. That's why the Ministry of the National Unity and Civic Engagement called on them to play their role in activities that helps Rwanda to achieve fully the unity and resilience. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Here we put a period to our tonight's edition. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team, many thanks for keeping us company. Up until next time, stay safe and we wish you a great and productive week ahead. Goodbye.